Uh, Today we are going to discuss how to find the global optimum value, that is maxima or minima for a given interval. Okay. Suppose we have a function fx. Uh, Sandeep, my voice is reaching now. Just make sure once so that I can continue. Okay, so we have a function fx, and we are supposed to maximize it for the interval varying from a to b. So your x is varying from a to b. Okay, so the algorithm to find the global optimum value, either maxima or minimum, is that we will continue the same process. That we will take first derivative of your given function, that is fx. Okay, so this will be dfx over dx equal to 0. So you have to compute your first derivative of your given function equal to 0, and you will get certain values of x by solving this dfx over dx equal to 0. So there will be some values of x, maybe 1 2 3. There may be n number of points. Okay, so these points are called stationary point, as we discussed in the previous lecture. Okay, so what will happen, that your uh, uh, after calculating these stationary point, you have to find all those stationary points, those which belongs to the interval between a and b. That is the values of x which are lying between a and b. Okay, so these stationary point may be called as, say, x1, x2, x3, xn, and so on. Okay, and these point along with a and b. Okay, so because we know that your optimum value, that is minimum or maximum value, will lie on stationary point. Okay, may lie on your stationary point only. Okay, and we have two more points, that is x equal to a and x equal to b. So what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to calculate all the values corresponding to the stationary point lying between these interval ax, varying from a to b, and at the point x equal to a and x equal to b. So what we are doing, we will calculate the value of function fx for all the point x equal to a and x equal to b, and all the stationary point lying in between the range a and b. Okay, and how we will give the optimum value? If we are, suppose it is a case of maximization, then we will select largest value. If it is a case of minimization, then we will select the minimum value of the given point. That is the points between x equal to a, x equal to b, and remaining stationary point x1, x2, x3, xn, which are lying in between the interval x, a, and b. Okay, so let us take one example for more clarity. We are supposed to maximize function fx equal to uh, we are supposed to maximize this function fx equal to uh, minus x3 plus 3x square plus 9x plus 10, and your interval, given interval, is minus 2 to 4. Okay, so your x may be x may be greater than equal to 2, sorry, 2 may be less than equal to x, may be less than equal to 4. Okay, so your x will vary from minus 2 to 4. This is your given interval. Okay, so what is the first step? According to first step, what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to calculate the first derivative. We will set our first derivative equal to 0. Okay, so as soon as we take first derivative, it comes minus 3x square plus 6x plus 9 equal to 0. Okay, if you solve this will become minus x square plus 2x plus 3 equal to 0. Okay, so you can solve it and you will get the values of your two values of x. It is quite simple, so let me solve here. X square plus 3x. I think it is quite simple, all of you can solve it easily. Minus x plus 3 equal to 0. Okay, so let us take common a minus x. This will be x minus 3, x minus 3 plus, take minus 1 common, this will be x minus 3 again. Okay, so this will be your minus x minus 1 x minus 3 equal to 0. Okay, so what will be the value of x? There will be two values, x equal to minus 1 and x equal to 3. There will be two values. Okay, so we have got the stationary point. Stationary point stationary point will be at minus 1 and minus 3. Okay, so here what is the next step? What we are supposed to do? We are supposed to calculate the stationary point. So we have calculated stationary point, and we are supposed to identify those stationary point which are lying in the range minus 2 to 4. Okay, so by chance all these 2 points are lying in between minus 2 to 4. Okay, so we will calculate the value of function fx for how many values of x equal to minus 1, x equal to 3, and the values at your given interval 2 and 4. Okay, so x equal to minus 2 and x equal to 4. So we are finding global maximum value. So we will evaluate function fx at x equal to 3, x equal to minus 1, minus 2 and 4. I hope it is clear why we are taking all these, why we are calculating the value of function at these points. Okay, so if you calculate these values, f3 equal to 37, f minus 1 is coming 5, f minus 2 is coming 12, and f4 is coming f when x equal to 4 it is coming 30. Okay, so here we can compare easily what is the largest value out of these four values. This is your largest value. So for fx, f3 equal to, x equal to 3, you are getting the maximum value out of your given values. Okay, so we can say the x equal to 3 is maximizing the function f over the interval minus 2 comma 4. Okay, suppose it would have been the case of minimization. If this case was of a minimization, then what was the minimum value? Minimum value was 5. So we could say that x equal to minus 1 minimizes this function, that is function fx equal to this for the interval over the interval minus 2 to 4. Okay, so this way we can calculate the value of global maxima or global minima for any function in the given interval. Okay, so if there is any doubt on this topic, which is or the algorithm which is for the calculating the global optimum value of the given function over the given interval. If there is any doubt, we can discuss. Otherwise, I will move to the next topic, that is the region elimination method. Okay, any doubt, students? Okay, so one thing is important. If there is no doubt, still I would like to repeat something which is very important. That when as soon as we are computing this your first derivative equal to 0, you are getting n number of stationary point. Okay, so out of these stationary point, we will you will select only those stationary point which are lying between the interval a and b. Okay, because in our example both these stationary point were lying in the given interval. Suppose this would have been -3. Okay, suppose this value would have been -3, then what we will do, we will eliminate this value. We will not calculate the value of function fx for x equal to -3. We would have calculated only for x equal to 3, x equal to -2, and x equal to 4. Okay, so that much was necessary to repeat again. So let us move to the next topic, next method of finding out the optimum value in a given function. Okay, so this is a method that is called region elimination method, and it is particularly used for unimodal function. Okay, if you don't remember, I told in starting that which function is called unimodal function. Okay, so in unimodal function, you can see the nature of your function on either side of one certain optimum value is common. Okay, so on the either side of your optimum value, maybe this is right side, consider this is right side and this is your left side. Okay, so from the nature of curve on either side of your optimum value, the nature of curve remains the same. Okay, then so here we can see nature of the curve fx for is same on both sides, that is left side or right side. Okay, for such unimodal functions, we have a method which is called region elimination method. It is widely used in the engineering optimization problem for solving engineering optimization problem. Okay, so suppose we have a function fx which is strictly unimodal on the interval which is between a and b, that is a is less than equal to x is less than equal to b, with a minimum or optimum value at star x star. Let x1 and x2 be the point in the interval such that a is less than x is less than x2 is less than b. Okay, so here let us try to understand by using this graph. Okay, so we have a function fx, this function fx, and here what is the situation? A x1, your a is less than x1, x1 is less than x star, x and your x2 is less than sorry, x1 is less than x2 and x2 is less than b. Okay, so this is the condition, and let us take this try to understand using this graph which is given, which is plotted for the unimodal function fx. Okay, so suppose first condition, we have computed fx1 at this place, and this is fx2 at this place. Okay, so suppose let us take a condition if x if this height is same, suppose this height is same, uh, then we will say the value of fa will be equal to, or just a second, erase. Okay, so suppose at any point, suppose I draw a line. Suppose we have this value corresponding to x equal to t1 say, and we have values corresponding to x equal to t2. Okay, so here we can see, since these two heights are same, or we can say the value of function fx is same at these points, x equal to t1 and x equal to t2, which is obvious property of your unimodal function. Okay, so we can move, we can work out on either side of your unimodal function. Let me tell you how we can utilize this property. Let me erase all, then okay. So we say the value corresponding to your function fx corresponding to x1 is x1, and corresponding to function f2 is x2. Okay, so what will happen? Suppose if your x1 is greater than x2, this your x1 is greater than x2. Okay, so what we can see, the minimum of your fx, if we can say that since your fx1 is greater than x2, where the minimum value will lie, it will lie on left side of your x2. Okay, or we can say the minimum value of function fx does not lie in the interval ax1. Okay, so ax1, it is denoting that since your this region will not because this value of fx1 is larger, so this will not be a possible solution. Okay, your respective region will be eliminated where your value is higher. Okay, so since this value is higher, we will eliminate this region. Okay, or in other words, we can say x will be x will the solution, possible solution will be between x1 and p. Okay, from here to here. Okay, so this is how this region is eliminated. Okay, similarly, let us take another case where your fx1, this is your another case, this is fx1. Okay, and this is your fx2. Okay, in this case, here we can see fx1 is smaller and fx2 is larger. Okay, since your fx2 is larger, what will happen? We can easily see that your which region needs to be eliminated. We can see your x2b region needs to be eliminated. Okay, so this region needs to be eliminated, and your possible solution will lie from a to x2, from this value to this value. Okay, I hope this is clear, easily understandable to all of you. Okay, so this way we can use this region elimination method for calculating your optimum value for the given interval. Okay, so there are there is one method that is called boundary, there are two steps. One method is in one phase we find out the interval in which your global optimum value will lie, and another in the second phase we refine this interval in order to get in order to get reduce your initial search, or to get your desired accuracy in your calculating the value of optimum value of your x for the given function. Okay, so here there are two phases. In first phase we are finding a region in which your global optima will lie, and after that in the second stage we are doing internal refinement of your region which we found in your first phase. Okay, so let us move to the first phase, that is the bounding phase, in which we are trying to bound a given function. Suppose we started with this function fx, and we could see that in first case our region, our solution will lie between x1 to b. Okay, so this is a kind of bounding. This may not be appropriate, but this is a kind of finding bounding phase, that our solution will be bound between the point x1 to b. Okay, similarly in this case, what was the bounding range? It was from a to h2. Okay, so in bounding we have one method that is called Swan method. Okay, so in Swan method what we do, we take some start value, say x0, and we calculate the next value based on some step size. So we take some step size delta for varying the value of your fx. Okay, so suppose we take some initial value x0 in this function, and we are moving from some y value delta in both direction, in right side and left side. Okay, so what will be the value in one side? This will be x0 minus delta, and another side this will be x0 plus delta. Okay, so we are taking some step size, and we are moving on either side of your starting point. Okay, and that way we are applying your region elimination method in order to find the exact region, or some bounding region where your possible solution or optimum value will lie for the given function in a given interval. Okay, so let us take in Swan method, how do we calculate the next point? We calculate the next point, x k1 plus 1 is equal to xk plus 2 raised to the power k into delta. Here k will vary from 0, k will be 0, 1, 2, 3, like that. And here one thing is important. Let me draw this unimodel here again. Okay, for clarity. So suppose this is your function fx, and this is your starting point x0. This is your interval a and b, x equal to a and x equal to b. This is your value of x. Okay, so since we have starting value x0, and we calculate the function corresponding to this value, this is given by x0. Okay, and now what we are doing for the first point, what we will do, for the first point k will be 0, your x1 will be x0 plus 2 raised to the power 0 into delta. Okay, so this will give you x0 plus delta. Okay, so we will move in both direction. We are calculating fx0 minus delta, as well as we are calculating fx0 plus delta. So suppose this value correspond to uh, just a second. Okay, suppose this value correspond to fx equal to fx0 plus delta, and this value correspond to fx 0 minus delta. Okay, so for clarity, I have drawn these values. This is fx0 minus delta, and this is fx0 plus delta, and this is your fx. Okay, so here we can see this condition is getting satisfied. Fx0 minus delta is greater than equal to fx is greater than equal to fx0 plus delta. Okay, so here we can see this value is reduced, this value is less as compared to fx0. So here we can easily conclude that which side of your x0 will correspond to optimum value. Here we can see we should move in right side or left side. Sandeep, any students who is able to understand which side we will move, on left side or right side, for finding out the your optimum value? Okay, so why we are moving right side? Because yes, so because we this value is decreasing and we are trying to find out the minimum value of your given function. Okay, so we will move in right side. Okay, so if this condition is satisfied, that fx0 minus delta is greater than equal to fx is greater than equal to fx0 plus delta, then we have to move in right side, or your delta has to be positive. Okay, and similarly, suppose we have taken some starting point. Suppose here from let's just take at this point. Suppose this is your x0. Okay, and if you are calculating the value of function for this time, this will be fx0 minus delta, and this will be uh, fx0 plus delta. Okay, so here we can see your these sign, inequality sign will be reversed, because now this for this time this fx0 minus delta will be less than equal to fx0 will be less than equal to f0 plus delta. Okay, so in that case what has to be done? You have to move in left side, so therefore delta has to be negative. Okay, so we have to be very careful while applying your Schwann method. We should remember, if this condition is satisfied, then we will take delta as positive, and if this condition is not satisfied, that is the equality sign are reversed, then we will take the value of delta as negative. Okay, so after that, moving ahead, suppose uh, okay, just a second. Suppose we were here, this was our function. Okay, so suppose we reach at certain value where your fx delta 1 is greater than fx0. This is your fx0 Okay, we reach to a certain value where your fx delta minus x0 minus delta, sorry, x0 minus delta is greater than f0, as well as fx plus delta is also greater than fx0. Okay, so we can say that our optimum solution, that is the minimum value of your function, will lie in between x0 minus delta and x0 plus delta. Okay, so I hope it is clear. I will take one example for more clarity. Okay, I hope it is clear. I'm moving ahead with an example, corresponding example, how we can uh, uh, find out a region by using your bounding phase method. Okay, so let us take one example. Consider the problem of minimizing fx equal to 100 minus x square for given the starting point x0 equal to 30 and a step size delta equal to 5. Okay, so here what we will do, we are supposed to find out the sign of delta, whether the sign delta has to be positive or negative. Okay, so here we can see fx0 will be f30 equal to this. We may calculate using this 100 minus 30 whole square, so it will come whole square of 70, and obviously this will be 4900. Okay, now what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to calculate fx0 plus delta and fx0 minus delta. Okay, so here what condition is satisfying? fx0 minus delta here is greater than, because this obviously this is greater than your this 4900. fx0 delta is greater than x0. Okay, and this is again greater than your fx0 plus delta. Okay, I hope you are able to understand what I have wrote. Okay, so we have calculated the value of function for x equal to 0, then for x equal to x0 plus delta and x0 minus delta. So what condition is getting satisfied? Your first condition is getting satisfied. Your fx0 minus delta is greater than equal to fx0 is greater than equal to fx0 plus delta. Okay, since this condition is satisfied, delta has to be positive. Okay, so how we will calculate the next value of x? Your x1 will be xk plus 2 raised to the power k plus delta. So this this will be 30 plus 2 raised to the power k, means 2 raised to the power 2 into delta will be your 5. Okay, so this will become x1 equal to 35. Okay, so thus we have calculated x1 equal to 35. Now what we will do, we will again apply this algorithm, and we will calculate the next position. Okay, so what will be the next? Thus we have taken x1 equal to 35. Now let us calculate the next value of your x2. x2 will be x1 plus 2, because this was k plus 1, sorry, k plus 1 equal to xk. So xk is now x1 plus 2 to the power k, means 2 to the power 1 into delta is 5. So what will come? 35 plus 10, this will be 45. Okay, so now we will calculate the value of function for fx equal to 45. F45, this is coming around uh, uh, 3025. Okay, or what was the value of fx1? Fx1 was, value of fx1 was for this was fx1 means f35, so value was 4225. Okay, so here we can see your or we can say f35. For clarity I am writing f35. So here if you compare these values, what we can see, your f45 is less than f35. Okay, so we can say obviously your x optimum value of x star will be greater than 35. Previously we concluded that your minimum value of x must be greater than 30. Now we can say your optimum value of x should be greater than 35. Okay, because this value, this condition is satisfied. Okay, now let us calculate the next value of x. Next step, that would be x3. So x3 equal to x2 plus 2 raised to the power 2 into delta. Okay, so if you calculate this is 45. 2 raised to the power 2 means 4 into 5. This will be 20 into 5. 4 into 5. This will be 20. 20 plus 45. This will come 65. Okay. So here again we can see fx f65 is coming 1225, which is which it can be fx sorry x2 was 45. Okay, so this condition is again satisfied. Your fx65 is less than f45, so we can say your optimum value of function fx will be obviously greater than 45. Okay, so we will repeat the same iteration. Okay, and we will calculate the value of fx4 x4. For x4 this will be x3 plus 2 raised to the power 3 into delta. Okay, so this is 8 into 5, it means 40. 40 plus 65, this will be 105. Okay, so here we can see again 100 value of function for 100.05, this will be 25 is less than, which is less than your fx3, that is f65. Okay, so we can conclude by this step again that your value of x, optimum value x, will be greater than 65. Okay, so we could conclude that your fx value of x star will be greater than 65. Let us now calculate the value of x for step 5, that is x5 equal to x4 plus 2 raised to the power 4 into delta, and this will be 16 into 5, this will be 80 plus 65 100.05. Okay, x4 was your 100.05. 100.05 plus 80, it will come 185. Okay, so similarly we will calculate the value of function fx5. so this value fx5 is f185 and it is coming around 7225. Now the condition is reverse. Okay, so let us try to understand using this graph on what situation we have reached. Suppose we started from x equal to 30, then x equal to 35, then x equal to 45, then x equal to 60. We started with x equal to 30, then we took x equal to 35, then we took x equal to 45, then 65, then 105, and then your x equal to 105, then x equal to 185. Okay, so we could see that after your this x equal to 65, this value x equal to 65, we calculated for x equal to 185, x equal to 185, and we could see the condition that the value of f85 is greater than fx4. Okay, so therefore your satisfactory region, or the value of your optimum value, will lie between x equal to 65 to 185. Okay, so this is also called bracketing method. In syllabus it is written as bracketing. Okay, so bracketing is nothing but we are bounding certain region, we are identifying certain region of a given function where your value of your optimum value of a given function will lie. Okay, so I hope it is understandable, otherwise I can repeat it. Students, were you able to understand? Okay, so good. Let us try to understand some more concept in this. Okay, so in this problem the step size was given 5. Okay, so we could find out a region corresponding to your given corresponding to your optimum value. Okay, so suppose we take this step size as 10 instead of 5. What will happen? We will be able to find out your bracketing, that is the bounding phase, within maybe next 1 or 2 steps. Okay, but what in that case what will happen? Your this region of bracketing may be larger. Okay, this region of bracketing may be larger. Maybe this may be the region. Okay, so in that case you may find certain value which will be x will be which will be less than 65, and for larger value this may be x may be greater than 185. Okay, so if we choose a small large step size, then in very less steps you can find out your bracketed region or bounding region. Okay, but this large region is not desirable scientifically when we are, because we are supposed to find out the optimum value of a given function. Okay, so once you have identified a region, then you have to again do further refinement. Okay, so for further refinement, more accurate algorithm needs to be applied. Okay, so for internal refinement, for doing the internal refinement, because we will be applying the more complex algorithms in order to find out the optimum value, or maybe the number of steps will become larger for your internal refinement algorithm, because after this calculating this region, what we will do, we will apply other algorithm which are called internal refinement method, through which we will find out the approximate value of your optimum, that is maximum or minimum value of a function. Okay, so what is desirable, that we have to make a balance. Okay, why we have to why should we make a balance? Because if you take this step size very large, then your bounding phase will be span of your bounding phase will be too large. Okay, and if you are taking this step size very low, suppose you take step size as 1. Okay, so what will happen? your number of steps required to find out your bounding phase or the bracketed region, this the number of steps required will increase. Okay, so uh, uh, you have to make a compromise in between these two, whether how much step size you should take, how much large or how much small step size you should take, so that there is a balance between the number of steps and the total span which you get using your this bounding phase algorithm. Okay, so there may be other things also which you can do, that after calculating this bounding phase in one step, you can apply again bounding phase algorithm. Okay, and that time you can reduce the step size. Suppose previously it was 5, now you can keep it 5, and you may get some more more accurate or appropriate region in between these given solution. Okay, so suppose that time you may get x equal to 50 85 to 90. Okay, so this way you can reduce the span of your bracketed region or your bounding phase. Okay, so after this I will discuss in next class how we do the internal refinement. Okay, so this I will start in the next class, because this is already your time is all about to complete. Okay, so if there are any query that we can take, otherwise I will stop here. Any query students can ask. Okay, so if there is no query, then I will stop the recording and